So I just shaved and my face is burning, but I don't think any of you care about that, so let's get it started. Hello guys, one more time and welcome to Ring Royalty. Today we have another review in our hands, this time from WWE Payback. Now, very important to remember, I'm only going to review the women's matches, so we have two matches, one on the pre-show and one on the main show. Something that I'm going to tell you right now is that I enjoyed this pay-per-view way more than I actually expected, and that's something very good. So without further to say, let's get right into this review. The first match of the night was announced only 3 hours before the pay-per-view started, so it was a surprise, but I'm not going to complain because I love women's wrestling, and it was in the pre-show, the Riott Squad against the IIconics. Shout out to Riott Squad matching outfits, they were very cute. The IIconics are always slaying with their looks, so I'm not gonna point that out because it's something regular. Let's get straight into the match. Let's remember that the build-up to this match was Liv Morgan having trust issues with Ruby Riott. Of course she would, as Ruby has attacked her in the past and break their friendship. I am going to say that this match is one of those matches where the storytelling might be more important than the wrestling itself. Because, I know wrestling is very important, duh. But, the story progression here was very good. The IIconics' mind games were great throughout the match. Even reaching a point where Liv Morgan wasn't sure if she should stay and help Ruby Riott. She wasn't sure if it was Ruby the one attacking her or trying to sabotage her, which was a very nice touch because I don't remember seeing that, at least in the past couple years, in a women's tag team. Refreshing. The match was pretty standard to me, something we could have seen at Raw or SmackDown. Nothing really special. Something that I didn't get was when Ruby Riott didn't tag Liv Morgan in the early going. I wasn't sure what the hell was happening, since Ruby is the one trying to gain Liv Morgan's trust back. So looking at her and shaking her head like, no, I'm not gonna attack you, like what the hell does that even mean? I don't get it. But that wasn't addressed later on, so I guess it wasn't important. For me, the MVP of this match would be Liv Morgan. Her facial expressions are very good. She did look conflicted in that moment when she wasn't sure if Ruby was the one that blindsided her. Also very nice to see that Liv Morgan still has that charisma even with no crowd. She's definitely a future star, I can see it. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, they were so good as a tag team, but that's not news. They had a lot of tag team maneuvers, which a lot of teams lack, at least in the women's division, so I really appreciate that from the IIconics. Ruby Riott is great too. For me, Liv Morgan definitely was the one that I would highlight in this match. When she got the hot tag, she was doing clotheslines and drop kicks and elbows and everything she could to both Peyton and Billie. Some people might say that she botched when she slipped from the corner trying to do a drop kick. However, it wasn't that big of a deal. She managed to solve it. She fell, but she tried to move so it would look like she was trying to give an elbow across Peyton's face. Then when she did the double stomp on Peyton, I literally thought she was injured. I'm not sure if I'm the only one. Please leave that in the comments. When Liv did her corner double stomp, Peyton smashed like this and she started to grab her left shoulder and say, oh wow wow, oh wow wow. And I wasn't really sure if it was kayfabe or she was actually hurt. I'm assuming it was kayfabe because a couple minutes later she was alright and continued with the match without any medical attention. So ultimately, the Riott Squad picked up the victory after Liv hit the Oblivion on Peyton Royce, taking her out of the equation. Liv did her Jersey code breaker on Billie into the Riott kick by Ruby Riott for the 1, 2, 3. I think the storyline progression was good. With this result, it was basically like a demonstration that Liv and Ruby have put the differences aside and they are overcoming all the issues they had. So it was good. It's refreshing to see Liv and Ruby win because they've been losing each and every week. So I'm not going to complain about that. The IIconics take the loss, but they've been winning a lot lately. So I think it was time for the Riott Squad to turn the tables on them. But other than that, the match was solid. I would say it was decent. If I have to rate it, I would give it like 2.5 stars maybe. And once again, highlight that my favorite in this match was definitely Liv Morgan. I would really love to see her go solo like for a long time and maybe have a title shot. But for now, I guess staying in the Riott Squad and maybe seeking an opportunity for the women's tag team titles in the near future would be good to showcase to everyone what she can do. And now let's move to the main show. The only women's match that we got on Payback's main show was the women's tag team title match, where the Golden Role models Sasha Banks and Bayley defended their tag team titles against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Why are they even a tag team? I don't get it. Even though I don't get it, I need to shut my mouth because this match proved me wrong. Because I was not expecting anything out of this match, and the match was actually really good. It had interesting spots, it had like a lot of storytelling too. I mean, I'm still surprised, but in a very positive way. Sasha Banks and Bayley have been having trouble since Sasha lost the Raw Women's Championship last week at SummerSlam. And then we have Nia and Shayna, who are not a tag team. They were thrown together, and this Monday they were beating each other up. And now they are challenging for the women's tag team titles. Spots that I really want to highlight from this tag team match. Sasha and Shayna's chemistry together is so impressive. Just in the early going when Sasha was on the turnbuckle and Shayna just grabbed her by the hair, started kicking her head upside down, and then Sasha managed to climb on Shayna's back and do a submission maneuver. It was so smooth, like they literally have a lot of chemistry. I think they've only faced each other once, so imagine when they are used to being in the ring together, the matches that they can pull off in singles competition. They're going to be excellent. A moment that I really enjoyed with Nia Jax too was when she ragdolled Sasha Banks on the barricade at ringside, and she was throwing Sasha against the barricade repeatedly as it was like a sack of potatoes. I mean, that's the only time in this whole match that I actually saw Nia as the irresistible force. Because that's my problem with Nia Jax. I don't really see her as that dominant heel that is supposed to be like a monster in the division and annihilate. You see what I did there? Annihilate anyone in the roster. I don't know, the way she talks, the way she cuts promos, her facial expressions remind me more of like a meaner type of heel, way more lay cool, rather than a scary big Samoan women. On the other hand, something that I want to address, and this is my personal opinion, I'm not sure if I'm the only one that thought ever since Shayna started to work with Jax, Nia got the best of the exchanges they had. So basically it was like Baszler lost a little bit of her dominance. I'm not sure if I'm the only one who felt that way. And now that Shayna is kind of like a tweener, I guess, because I don't want to say she's a face. For a moment, it actually looked like she stopped being this irresistible force, because for me, Shayna was indeed an irresistible force. All of that was in my mind before Payback, but after tonight's show, I'm gonna shut up. Why? Because Shayna showed the badass she really is. In this match, the Shayna Baszler from NXT was back. Kicking butt, doing suplexes, kicks, punches, everything we need from her. I would say the Golden Role models Sasha and Bayley carried the match pretty well when Nia was inside. They had some very good spots when they were double teaming Nia, trying to chop down the big tree, attacking the legs. Very nice. They also showed different tag team maneuvers. There was even a moment when Sasha and Bayley looked like they were going to retain their titles, when Bayley did like a diving elbow on Nia, followed by a frog splash by Sasha Banks. Then Bayley did a belly to belly on Shayna so she could not interfere, but Sasha only got a 2 count. She was not able to put Nia away. In the final minutes of the match, Shayna was alone in the ring with both Sasha and Bayley, and she managed to overpower them. She locked Sasha's legs in kind of like a muta lock. Next, she proceeded to hold Bayley by the neck and lock the Kirifuda clutch. And when she had both of them in submissions and Sasha was trying to break the submission for Bayley, as Bayley was the legal competitor, Shayna managed to grab Sasha's arm and choke Bayley with it. I've never seen a double submission that looked that dominant. I don't remember when was the last time I saw a submission that looked so badass, so painful. Bayley choked and tapped out with her own tag team partner's arm. And I have to give it to Shayna. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I'm really enjoying and I'm really interested in Shayna Baszler's tweener slash face gimmick. I mean, I didn't expect and I never thought Shayna could be like a face after everything she did and accomplished back in NXT. So Shayna and Nia are now the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, and after this match, I thought that would bother me, but it doesn't. I mean, I'm so glad that the Golden Role Models lost it finally, so we could start this freaking feud with Sasha and Bayley, because Sasha was fuming. So overall, watching this match was so much fun. I would say that it was way better than anyone could expect. Shayna Baszler with that badass ending, and this is for all the Shayna haters. She can wrestle, and she showed it in this match. And well, Nia and Shayna are champions. I'm not sure the direction they are going with this, if they are actually going to become tag team partners and get along, or they're just going to lose the titles when one of them betrays the other. Also, what the hell, sorry for the expression, but what the hell was that Nia Jax post-match promo? Is she supposed to be this big small girl that is scary? Because she's not doing that right. I mean, she can dominate and overpower women, but at least don't act like a 15-year-old after you win a championship. Besides that horrible promo, the match was built up excellently, it was very enjoyable, and that stare that Sasha gave Bayley after they lost the titles said it all. I'm just waiting for this week's SmackDown because I know it's happening. Well, this was my review from Payback, and this pay-per-view taught me something very important. You never know what to expect in WWE. Sometimes you are very hyped and the matches aren't that good. Sometimes you don't have your hopes up, but the matches surprise you. So, try to keep watching. One more time, I'm going to take a couple seconds to thank you for your support. We are more than 170 now, and that means a lot, like you already know. Some good collaborations are coming very soon, so try to be checking the channel and the updates every week. You know, I always upload on Monday/Tuesday, depending if I have time to edit or not. Here's my Instagram if you want to follow me, just in case, and stay safe. I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.